Hey everybody, Cindy here with Pathways Homestead. It's a chilly day today. I found the neatest place here in Missouri. I'm over visiting Gary and found the neatest historical site in the Pulaski County. It is super cool, super neat, and so I'm just kind of exploring this old home site today. Check out that barn. Isn't that the coolest? That is so cool. But anyway, so I am here and I'll show you the house and some other stuff, so hide and watch. So this is the Callaway Manus Homestead in Pulaski County, Missouri. Super cool, beautiful house. And Callaway was killed on the front porch. How cool is that? This home was built in the late 1840s. Families took residence in around 1850, and Callaway and his brother Seth II were farmers and Baptist preachers here in Pulaski County. Callaway was killed by bushwhackers in mid-August of 1864 during the Civil War. Oh look, somebody's coming out the house. That's Gary. Gary! Come on over here. They can't hear you say what. And the wind is so bad we may have to reshoot it. What are you doing out here?
Oh, I'm working on this old house.
Why are you working on this old house?
Because we're moving to Missouri.
So, there we have it, y'all. We're moving to Missouri. We are going to live in Callaway Manus' house. Callaway died right beside where I'm at in mid-August 1864. Callaway was shot by bushwhackers because he would not quit preaching against secession from the Union. Supporter of the Union in the Civil War, and that upset a lot of people, and one fine mid-August Sunday morning, he preached a fiery sermon against the evils of the war, and Monday night was shot on the porch, fell back into the house, and the bushwhackers made his daughter hold a candle while they shot him to make sure he was dead. And he was an older man, and just a sad deal. One of the other daughters escaped out the back door and went and warned her uncle, who lived next door, and they were able to get old Seth to safety. So guys, lots of history here. We'll be sharing a little bit more of the house and stuff to come. So hide and watch and see what we do. But isn't this staircase amazing? I'm so excited to show you guys what we're going to be doing on this old home. As you can tell, it needs lots of work, but we're not going to do a whole lot. We're just going to get it livable. We don't own this home. We didn't buy it. Some friends of ours own it, and they're going to let us rent it. So just hide and watch, follow our journey for cleanup, and we'll try to get some more video shot for you as we work on this house. Just for looking at it, but that's good. Okay, it's ready to roll.
All right. Well, we are at the Callaway Manus.
Manus, yep.
Manus is how it's said. I kind of wondered that when I saw it, but
all the Manuses I know, it's M-A-N-U-S.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
We're at the Callaway Manus Homestead.
Callaway Manus, yep.
It's also known as the, what was the?
Richard and Doris Powers house.
Powers, yeah. This is the Powers farm.
Mm-hmm.
It is now part of Black Cattle Company.
Yes, yes.
And that's how we have access to it. It's
yeah.
part of Black Cattle Company. And
so as Gary announced earlier, we are moving and we are going to live in the Manus house here.
Yes.
And that's pretty exciting for us. And I did get a clip of the National Registry site certificate, and that is pretty darn cool. So we've done a lot of cleaning today. We got 3 rooms and a hallway cleaned out.
Yes.
Out of however many rooms are in that house. 3 upstairs.
There's really not that many.
No, there's 3 upstairs.
And 4 downstairs.
4 downstairs, and then
No.
the big back porch. There's a huge back porch, and eventually we'll show you that back
And the
porch.
kind of the hallway foyer.
The foyer, yeah.
Yep.
But it's not really as big as it looks.
No. The rooms aren't, none of the rooms are real tiny.
No.
But
Spacious rooms.
Yep.
But yeah, so, I need to do some research and look and see, but, so Callaway and Seth II Manus built this house, and then they built another house back this way, a half mile probably.
See if we can get a view of it. You
Yep.
can see it from here, but it's
It's a
ridge
long
top
ways.
to ridge top.
Yeah, it's a half mile, maybe closer to a mile
Yeah.
away, and brothers built these homes.
They own quite a bit of ground
They
around here.
did, and they homesteaded and farmed here.
Yeah. and
They also
this was a cattle ranch even then.
Even then, they were Baptist preachers.
Yep.
And planted several churches around here.
And cattle farming Baptist preachers.
Yep. So there are several different rumors as to why Callaway was murdered. The most creditable, I guess that's what you'd say, according to his great niece. According to one of his family members, he was murdered because he would not quit. He would not quit preaching against secession from the Union. He was a huge Union supporter during the Civil War.
Missouri.
In Missouri, yeah, here in Missouri.
In bloody Missouri.
Yeah. And so, so he would not quit preaching. Supposedly, he preached a fiery sermon on Sunday morning in mid-August, and then was murdered the next Monday night, the following Monday night.
So, not only was the messages weren't just we shouldn't secede and join the Confederacy. It was slavery is wrong.
Yes.
We shouldn't secede and join the Confederacy.
Right.
And so he was an abolitionist Union supporter.
Right.
And which to me, to know that this is a home where a man died for standing up what he believed the Bible taught,
Yes.
that's incredibly powerful.
Yes. So we're pretty.
But there was another story that
Yes.
could have some truth to it.
Could have, yes.
The story is that a few days before he had sold
Well, he was killed on a Monday night.
killed on Monday night. So that day
Probably that day.
he had sold a bunch of cattle in town.
Mm-hmm.
Up outside of town, there used to be a railhead yard where they
Yes.
would sell cattle,
Mhm.
and he
Shipped cattle.
shipped cattle, and he was paid
In
gold because nobody knew whether they should
Mm-hmm.
accept Union currency or Confederate
Right.
currency. So he did business in gold,
Yep.
and he was paid in gold. And it is confirmed that the men that shot him were not locals. They were not local, and so one of the suspicions was that they had seen him get paid in gold. And you definitely came across some historical stories about them trying to get
treasure hunting. Here.
trying to find out. Supposedly, the men that killed him tried
Never
to
could find
find
the
out where he'd hid the gold.
Yep.
And so there's a suspicion that it had more to do with actually getting gold than with political.
Well, I think the political story was because he was threatened. He and Seth both were already had already been threatened because their sermons and their beliefs. They had already been threatened by people around, and had already been threatened and told that they needed to stop their preaching, and they didn't.
And it'd be easy to see how some local ne'er-do-wells would, or not local ne'er-do-wells, some ne'er-do-wells, some people up to no good would hear or think that maybe he had some gold, and then say, go talk to some people with political influence and power, and they'd say, we'd like him shut up. And say, okay, we'll go shut him up, thinking they'll get some gold out of the deal too. And it's easy to see how both of those are actually the truth.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I didn't realize that that Seth Manus's home was still open, was still here.
Yeah, and we can see it, and we may get a video of seeing if we can see it from the front porch of this place.
Right, because that was kind of the thing, that they could face each other's houses, that they could see each other's house.
Mm-hmm.
My eyesight's not that good.
I can see the house through the trees.
Through the
and,
trees.
And it's on a pretty brushy ridge. We're on a bald knob here, actually.
Yeah. And it's pretty windy.
Yeah. And it's kind of nice, since we've already let the cat out of the bag, that we are moving. It's kind of nice for us to go from Kansas to the Ozarks and be on a bald knob.
Yes, and not in the woods.
Yeah, and not, shut in. Even though we love the timber, we love the woods. I grew up in the timber, and I love it. But this is a beautiful open view here. It is definitely reminiscent of the Kansas Flint Hills.
Yeah.
This is a bald knob here in the Ozarks, and there's lots of pasture. This is some friends of ours, the Black family. They have a cattle company, and they actually own this along with many other small farms.
And you can hear the cow-calf pairs bawling.
They pulled some calves off today, or pulled some pairs out today, and pulled the bulls off today. And so they've got all the cows up here, a little stirred up. But and we are, you guys, we told you we're moving. Part of our moving is just good work for me. I'm working with my brother in his business, and his custom carpentry business, and so in this area, and so that's part of why we moved here. That's the biggest reason of why we moved here. And we just kind of like to go on adventures.
Yeah.
We, Pathways Homestead is the name of our channel, and our life has definitely been a journey along a pathway, and God has led us places, and we have made the decision to move with much prayer.
Yes.
Much prayer.
Yes, much prayer.
And kind of part of it was just kind of, okay, God, if you want us to move, you need to provide a place. And he did.
And he did.
I talked to a friend of mine, and he said, I got a place.
Yep.
So.
It needs lots of work.
Yep.
And we'll see what we do with it, and we'll take y'all along. Gary's going to learn to film on his camera, since I'm going to be transitioning. I still got a week left in Kansas at my job, for sure. And then...
So I'm going to try to get what I can with my phone.
Yep.
Since I actually have a not flip phone now.
Yep.
And so we're going to see.
We'll see what we can do. And we're not selling the Kansas place.
Nope.
At this point,
our son is going to be living there.
At this point, so that's not in the foreseeable future. We're not selling that. We'll see what a few years hold. See what the kids want to do and things like that. Yeah. But that's where we're at right now. We're not doing anything right now with the Kansas place, except for getting some of the stuff moved over here. And we're not even going to move everything over here until we find a more permanent. This is temporary.
Yeah.
This is temporary.
This is temporary.
This house is temporary.
This house is temporary, yes.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Yeah. Who knows what the Lord will do in a year or two.
We may move to Africa. Who knows?
Yeah. Or Alaska.
Alaska. Yeah, let's make plans.
We're getting too old for Alaska.
I know. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm ready for spring.
It's a little lot colder in Alaska.
I used to love the cold in the winter, and I still do over the summer, but the cold gets hard on this old fart. I walk like I've been working construction most of my life.
Yep.
Especially in the cold weather.
So, well, guys, we thank you so much for coming along.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a little bit more footage later and share that with y'all. And but this is our huge announcement, our huge surprise. We're just super excited about it.
Some of this so you guys have been following us for the past 3 years that we've been doing this. Mm-hmm. This may be as a big shock to you and seem like a huge change. But the truth is, since we have been married, it's been a different homestead every 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
That's kind of normal for us.
Yeah.
And so, many more than one that's a rental place and just kind of make do. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is kind of that kind of arrangement.
Yeah. And if we're here 5 years, we're here 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. But there definitely is, bring your milk cow, bring your, whatever you want to do, that kind of stuff. We don't have access to a lot of pasture,
no.
But there is a trap we can keep the cow in with the spring-fed pond. Definitely the ability
and a shed to milk in.
Yeah.
And a shed for her to house in.
Yep. And there's definitely the ability to put gardens and chickens here.
Yeah.
And
I won't have the huge chicken spread that I have in Kansas. So some of those chickens, I'm going to bring a few with me. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what we do with chickens. We may just purchase some here. Because there's a whole lot right now about transporting birds over state lines. So we'll have to check into that before we make any decisions. But we'll definitely have chickens here. And Luke wants to keep some chickens in Kansas. And he wants to keep a few of the rabbits. And we'll see what we do with dogs and such, because the dogs truly aren't ours. So we're going to see.
Kids grow up, move off, and leave the stinking
dogs. So we'll see what happens with everything. We'll just see. And I do have a friend that is seriously considering purchasing Freedom. And if she does purchase Freedom, Freedom will go to a very good home, and I will not have any concerns of that. If she doesn't purchase Freedom, I'm going to bring her with me. And we'll see what goes from there.
Yeah, and we're excited about this move.
Yes.
We kind of like the change.
Yeah, and you've been working over here 6 months.
Yeah, I've been working over 6 months, and it'd be nice for us to live together again.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna give it a go.
Yeah.
And see. So, yep. But yeah.
So, yep, we are excited about this move.
We are. And there's lots of neat things to show off here, and we'll just have to show it off and take you guys with us.
So the house, I don't know what all you've said about the house, built in 18...
It was in the 1840s, completed by 1850.
Yep, and it is...
I believe that the porch and the kitchen and that one upstairs bedroom, I think that's all added on.
Maybe.
And I know this back part here, and I know that on the front, the part that looks like bay windows, that has been added on, and the porch has been changed, the front porch.
So somebody has changed that porch to look more like a plantation home. It probably did not originally look like that.
No.
It was more of just a
farmhouse,
two-story box farmhouse. Yeah.
And that's why I think it's been added on. You would know better because of your construction experience.
Well, I can tell you this, that even under the kitchen and stuff, that is cypress log floor joists.
Okay, so the kitchen may not have been.
So that probably could have been original. If it wasn't original, it was still in that era. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd say it was still before the turn of the century.
Yeah. And the parlor has very nice pocket doors. I'm so excited.
They are beautiful.
Yep.
There's some really neat woodwork in the old foyer and in the house.
Yeah.
And so we've got a lot of work to do to make this place livable, and that's part of that's part of the deal.
But we're going to do some major remodel in the bathroom. But we're going to try to retro remodel.
Yep.
And retro as much as we can.
The owners, that's kind of what
that's
they
their
want.
request.
Yep. And that's good for us. That's what we like. We're definitely into rustic cabin, rustic farm, that kind of stuff. Probably our style goes more Depression era than it does Civil War era, but those are pretty similar.
And I don't know how you could retro and go back to Civil War from where we're at. From where it's at right now, and not get so expensive. The wallpaper was more cloth back then, so that would be
Well, guys, we have friends all over the country, and we have people that watch us, our friends and family, all over the country, and so we're moving states. We are in Missouri.
We're moving about 4.5 hours from one homestead to the other. So.
And a lot of you guys have met us at homesteading events in Missouri.
Yes.
So we will probably still keep going to homesteading events in Missouri.
Our plans right now, for sure, are Baker Creek in May on Mother's Day and the day after at Mansfield. And then the next one be the Ozarks Homesteading Expo at the end of August.
Those are the for sures, right?
Those are the for sures. And we will be speaking, teaching, helping, whatever we need to do, whatever she asks us to do. And if we're not speaking or teaching, that's fine. She does have us on the speakers list, so we'll be doing something, and we'll be helping out however we can. And so we'll see you there for sure. Yep. But I'm excited. So like I said, this is my last week at my job in Kansas. So I'm hoping to and I'm feeling so amazing from my surgery. I'm healed up I'm better than I was, definitely better than I was pre-surgery already. Gary can tell the difference.
So happy. I was so worried.
No dizzy, no dizzy at all.
Don't walk like a weeble wobble and have to take a nap every 2 hours. Like
I'm not a baby anymore. Wake up every 2 hours and cry. No, but and walk like a toddler. Yeah. But yeah.
And I didn't mean to make fun of you.
I
It's
know.
Just,
that was
the
it.
situation we were in.
So.
And I'd rather laugh at it than cry.
And the crazy thing is now my blood pressure is in the high normal, and I've always had abnormally low blood pressure till right before surgery, and then after post surgery, like when I've just had higher blood pressure, and so I am doing some dietary changes now to try to help that out. I do need to stop soda pop again, so y'all pray for me on that pop issue. I love pop. So, and I'd been off of it for years, so I'm gonna get off of it again, and because there's a lot of sodium, and it's the bad sodium in pop. So we're gonna give that a go and see what we do. See what we do. I gotta quit getting a 44 ounce.
We will be making some pretty major homesteading style transitions.
Yes, we
by
will.
Moving here. We will definitely be less agriculture income based,
right,
and less big livestock. We will include a lot more foraging and hunting and fishing probably in our style over here. We're going to be close to my family, and I've got a nephew that is hunting crazy. And so definitely get involved in more of that again. And I'm looking forward to that, guys. Last year we made the announcement. Sad deal, I didn't kill a deer last year, which was the first year in 20 years I had not killed a deer.
And you didn't get one this year?
This past season, I didn't even buy a tag.
I was the only one that got a deer, and I got it with Red, my truck.
Yeah, I didn't
good.
even get a hunt this year. So we're looking forward to some of those changes. We raised our kids with more of that a lot.
Yes, we did.
When our kids were young, that was more of our meat sourcing. And
so, guys, stay tuned for our regular scheduled Sunday Night Live. That'll be following this at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. And if you're watching it past Sunday is the 5th? Was the 4th? Yep. If you're watching this past the 5th of February to 2023, the live is over. But if you are watching this February 4th, 2023.
Before 5 o'clock.
Before 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. We are going to go live. So please join us for that. We thank y'all very much for joining us for our first premiere. And remember, God made you special.
And He loves you very much.
Have a blessed week, y'all. We'll see you in a few minutes.